Today, I'm leading you through a 15-minute toned arms workout without any equipment.
Man, these are tough. These are tough videos to critique. Just your body weight's not gonna do a lot, man. Well, let's see what she does. Maybe I'll eat my words.
You're going to draw little tiny C's.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength. I am a former professor of exercise and sport science. As a matter of fact, I have a PhD in sport physiology, a jiu-jitsu black belt, and I bodybuild and lift weights and work out. And so does Madfit, Insane Fit, a young woman who's helping other folks get in shape with her own mega massive YouTube channel. And we're gonna lens in on some of the stuff she's saying, take a look at her training, take a look at her diet recommendations, and see if we can make any sense of anything, and say some nice things, and say some critical but all well-meant love and respect things. 3, 2, 1, become very angry, mad even.
Today, I'm leading you through a 20-minute full body workout that is all on the floor.
Scott, how come when I'm on the floor, moving my body, gyrating, very minimally dressed, the FBI doesn't call it a workout, but it calls it a kind of tape that you can't just hand out to people in public and expect them to not sue you?
I'm calling this a lazy workout.
What do you think about the concept of lazy girl workouts?
Okay, we're gonna do a lot of yin and yang today, Scott. On the plus side, it's kind of a cool admission that, look, I know you're not gonna work hard. I'm gonna try to give you the best workout in the context in which you're actually able to do it. I love that. Respect. Meet people where they are. On the other hand, the idea that you can lean into laziness and still get a lot of really good fitness results is, to some large extent for many people, an illusion. So if you're looking for the easy way out and you get the lazy girl workout, you're probably just going to get zero results. You're probably lazy about your workout, too lazy to get gains. You're probably too lazy about your diet, and too lazy about consistency, and you're probably going to fail. So while it's possible that some people do benefit from leaning into the lazy, admitting it, and just doing their best, and there's tons of that. Minimalism is a really cool thing. On the other hand, it's kind of like if you can help yourself and try to challenge yourself a little bit, don't lean into your laziness, that might also help too. So anyway, all right, all jokes aside, let's see what's going on. I don't mean all jokes aside, there's gonna be plenty more dumb jokes ahead.
Pressed into the floor, nice neutral pelvis, rolling up through the spine, pressing the hips all the way to the ceiling.
What is the color of her outfit and water bottle? What color is that, Scott?
I don't know, but I love that they're matching.
It's like...
You don't match in our videos, what the fudge?
I don't have a sense of taste. Off cucumber. Yeah?
Yeah, that's good.
Do you think that she has element in her shake there?
I mean, I hope so. With this lazy girl workout, I'm sure she's going to sweat a lot.
She needs a leg look. Okay, TBH, she probably does not need any element. If you work out really, really hard and you expel lots of fluids from your pores by sweating, then element can be a great thing to dump into your workout drink to make sure you're rehydrating all the electrolytes back, not just the fluids. Element, link in description, one of our sponsors. Other than that, okay, let's see what's moving on. Okay, one more snarky thing. And I mean this with all due 1,000,000,000% love and respect. I'm hideous, and I know this. Are her feet pretty big? Scott, what do you think?
I think they're normal.
Really? Do I have small feet? Oh, that makes sense. That does make sense.
And then trying to hold the squeeze in the glutes as long as possible.
Ooh, good idea. Good eccentric control, really connecting with the glutes. This is great. And not so lazy. So if you're really lazy, you would just dump right on the ground. Not in the literal sense, though you could also do that. The disgusting workout. Great. I love it. I love it. I love it.
As we come down. Staying in this position, we're going to do some slow crunches. Lifting up towards the ceiling.
Whoa, this is lazy. Like you're just in one position, lying down on the ground, and you're like lifting. Cool, okay.
And then control, same thing, trying to hold that squeeze in your abs as long as possible. Thinking about bringing those ribs together as we come up and keeping a space in between your chin and your chest. So neck is nice and long.
Cool. So the long neck, frankly, does nothing at all, and you're not going to hurt your neck by bending it in any particular way when you're training. The cues for the crunch are very good, trying to really shorten that midsection and really lengthen under control is really awesome. One of my questions about workouts like this in general is like, how close to muscular failure and thus a very effective stimulus per set are we getting here? Like, this is cool for just moving around. And if you're like really trying to get into fitness, but you're very out of shape, you just don't train at all, you don't move much, this can be like a really cool few weeks of introductory movement to your body. Is it going to get you in the kind of shape that she's in? Almost certainly not. She probably trains with specialized programs included for shoulders, arms, chest, back, legs, abs, and glutes, each one with male and female options. You get them all and can use them as often as you like, even building off of them to make your own customized versions for only about $1 a day. Click on the link in the description of this video to get started. And so basically, yeah, you want to train to look like her. You can do this for a few weeks, and then once you're in better shape, you see those dumbbells next to her, you're gonna be getting them shits, and you're gonna get off the ground. You're gonna walk around, you're gonna do lunges, you're gonna do squats, you're gonna do presses, you're gonna do rows, and really challenge yourself, really push the pace, because that's kind of the only way that you can have results that look like that.
We're gonna lower those toes down and then bring them back up. So we're doing a leg drop in this position.
This is a cool exercise because it shortens the lever arm by bending the knee, which means that you don't have to overstrain yourself if you're not in very good shape. Straight leg lowering is really, really tough. And it also means you won't like flip over while you're doing it. It does limit the exposure to lengthened tension at the bottom. Your abs aren't super stretched because your toes touch and you come back up. But again, very much in line for the very introductory exercises that are going on.
Again, if you feel your back starting to come off the floor, you can just slightly lower the toes and then bring them back up. They don't have to touch the floor.
Nothing wrong with your back coming off the ground. Totally fine. Your hip flexors actually pull up against your spine and thus bring it up. No big deal at all.
Lower, bring the knee in towards the chest and out. As you bring that knee in, make sure you're keeping this same height. So directly out from the hip, and don't let your body fall back. We want to use our core.
Now the lifting leg part does train some glutes and a little bit of obliques. The coming up with the knee thing, that doesn't do much.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm leading you through a 15-minute toned arms workout without any equipment.
Man, these are tough. These are tough videos to critique, mostly because I really have a thing for white background, plant-based minimalism. And how can it look? Scott, look at the scene.
Yeah, I see it.
But on a serious note, scene aside, you guys, there's no way to train your arms with just body weight. Maybe I'm going to eat my words in a second. Scott, she picks up the plant and starts curling it. You're like, damn, okay, shit. I didn't know we were allowed to use shit in the room. Let me go on this rant for you guys for a second. It's totally fine to ask the intellectual question of how little can I do and still benefit? Like, if you are totally over the career thing, it's totally fine to ask, like, what kind of job can I get that'll pay the bills and give me as much leisure time as possible to pursue my hobbies? Totally fine. But there is a floor to answers of that question that are valid. And in just the same way, asking how little can I do, little measured as anyway, time of the workout, intensity of the workout, frequency, like do I have to train 5 times a week? Can I train once? And even, do I need to use weights at all? Like, do I need to go to the gym? Do I need to have dumbbells? Do I even need to have bands? Do I need to have anything? And there's this totally normal, totally cool, natural human desire to ask, okay, if I do this little, can I still get something that I can be like, hey, I'm working out, I'm getting a benefit? And up until a very low point, the answer is yes. And surprisingly, if you get really creative, and you guys can check out my appearance on the Diary of a CEO podcast where I talk about this, just with like 15 to 25 pound dumbbells and one bench, and maybe not even a bench, you can have excellent physique results in many cases with just, man, really an hour total per week of training. 2 very intense sessions, notice the trade-off to intensity, twice a week. But we also have to admit something. that yes, while to a point doing less can still get you something meaningful, there's a drop off there, you guys, to where like, yeah, just your body weight's not going to do a lot, man. Like, it's a real thing. Well, let's see what she does. Maybe I'll be eating my words.
You're going to draw little tiny C's, so coming up.
Hey.
I'm always impressed with the cleverness. Like, this is very creative. Like, I would have never come up with some C's and shit. I'm doing it, Scott. She's like, that's a G, you fucking idiot. I'm like, oh, God damn it. I'm doing a little loop at the end. Shit. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's a weird feeling when you followed somebody and they've been vegan for a while.
Oh, boy. Vegans, stay calm. Stay calm. I will say things about veganism in a second.
And then they come out and say that they're not vegan. It's like a total WTF moment. I decided to include a very small amount of animal products into my diet because I wasn't feeling my best. I am still pretty much plant-based. Like, I would say my diet.
Facts. Check this out, vegans. Plant-based diet has a very important 3 operative terms in it. Plant-based diet. Diet self-explanatory. Damn it, I chose the wrong finger. Plant self-explanatory. Let me just leave these up. Based. When a diet is based in or on plants, that in typical understanding of human language seems to me not to say that it is bereft of everything else. Like when you say the Asian peoples have a rice-based diet, which they do, it is not that you're saying they eat only rice, because they don't. Having a base of something can be understood to represent the fact that it is the majority of the intake, that maybe it's the most high-frequency food, that it composes the vast proportion of calories or nutrients that they eat, and that is all facts. What based is not supposed to convey is that it is the only thing that they eat. So it turns out the vast majority of people in the world, short of like carnivore dieters or Inuits who eat a mostly meat diet, you could even say a meat-based diet, almost all diets are plant-based, you guys. Most human calories come from plants and not from animals as consumed. And so the term plant-based diet, I can't tell if it was developed with all the best vegan intentions in mind to be obfuscatory to the idea that it's really just the vegan diet, which is what it actually is. Plant-based diet, I tell people I eat a plant-based diet. They're like, you eat meat all the time. I'm like, yes, that's correct. But I eat the vast proportion of my calories from plant sources. When I go to Chipotle to get a burrito, I get a tortilla. Scott, plant-based or not?
Plant-based.
Rice. How we doing so far?
Plant-based.
Beans.
Plant-based.
And then I get chicken and I get some cheese sauce. Chicken and cheese sauce is like 1/5 of my burrito by volume and 1/3 by calories. That is a plant-based meal, you guys. There's no other way to say it. And I don't mean to take the sales out of the vegans who are in, I think, the final, maybe not final, it sounds a little dramatic, in the long term of history are going to be judged as just more ethical than the rest of us and really more forward-thinking and kinder. I think in the end, the vegans win. I think once lab-grown meat becomes a possibility here in the next, I don't know how many years, I'm sure it's shit switching. I absolutely have no intention of hurting anything ever. The idea that animals have to suffer for my ass to eat a fucking food that feels nice to me in my mouth is dog shit. But at the same time, I really like clarity in terminology. And so when you say plant-based diet, that's saying almost nothing at all because almost everyone is a plant-based diet. What you really want to say is vegan diet. And I know it's a sales tactic. You say, oh, plant-based, because people like typically associate, unfortunately, vegans with, no offense, fellas, no offense, statistical accuracy, psychotic socialists. that hate you and will throw things at you and they'll spill red ink on you and you wear fur. And they're coming almost always from the best possible place. I mean, like, industrial slaughter of animals is really fucked up. Now, it's a nuanced perspective, because if you can take really good steps to make sure the animals are not suffering, you let them live at or above their naturally expected lifespan, you inoculate them from almost all disease, completely save them from predation. So like pasture-raised cattle, for example, it's by no means clear you're doing an unethical thing. You can say, well, you're restricting the animal's freedom, but do animals have like an understanding of epistemology enough to know that agency is something they really want? Probably not. Cows sure as shit not. And so if you're raising an animal way beyond its expected lifespan in the wild, in a quality of life that is objectively higher than it would get in the wild, and then you slaughter it for meat, that's probably not unethical. Really unethical is suffering plus then some gnarly factory farming, which I think should be some combination of, I don't know about outlawed, maybe outlawed, but definitely like I think most people who have the money should be buying food intentionally that's ethically sourced with animals that are having a good time until they're a little older and way older than they'd be in the wild, and they're very humanely put down and all is great. I think that's totally fine. But on the vegan side, there's this huge advantage of like, dude, killing other things for food is kind of fucked, and it kind of is. But if you speak clearly and address your vegan concerns and say, look, I'm not going to call it plant-based. I'm going to call it vegan. You know why? Because it's vegan. And that's a good thing, because the vegan diet is a morally superior diet, period. Scott, if I was like more of a manosphere guy and a carnivore dude, I could have really interpreted this video totally differently, huh?
You
see what I'm talking about, man? This is the feminization of our society, brother. First they want us to turn vegan so our hair falls out. Then they want us to drive Priuses. Scott, what else can we say? What's next? The globalists.
Yeah.
Down the drain we go. Anyway, folks, there is still more video to come, but we have a members area where you get an extended version of this video, every other exercise science critiques videos, tons of vlogs and blogs from Jared and myself training in the real world, tons of nerdy stuff, a little bit of extra money, tons of extra value. Give it a click. It's somewhere around here. And back to the video right now.
As you know, I've struggled a lot with my hormones. I've struggled a lot with very bad period pain. It's been something that I've been struggling with pretty much ever since I'd gone vegan, came off the birth control pill. I started to include animal products. I started to notice a big difference. I was struggling so much to the point where I was at my breaking point, where I was just like ready to completely give up. I was struggling with really bad anxiety, depression. My skin was
Whoa, that's intense, huh, Scott?
Yeah.
was horrible, and the pain was absolutely insane. Like the worst pain I have ever felt in my entire life, to the point where I was throwing up every single time I got my period because the pain was so intense.
Whoa, that's fucked up. I sure hope Maddie gets her shit sorted. Here's the thing, for folks that need to consume animal products, but they're ethically vegan, but their health isn't allowing them, definitely, of course, number one is try to make sure you check all of your supplementation boxes. More protein, more B vitamins, and any talk with ChatGPT will tell you exactly what more you need to be having. If that's not working, then the next thing you can address is absorption issues. Sometimes you think you're eating enough of something, but it's getting absorbed at a fifth of what normal people, you're totally normal, the average person can absorb, and so you just need to eat a lot more of it. Sometimes that helps. If that's not a thing that is effective, you can consider moving into animal products that are ethically acquired, and that is actually a possibility, because vegans, check this out. If the average insert animal here that you're going to be eating parts of lives 10 years in the wild and typically dies in a really fucked up way. By the way, almost every animal in the wild dies when they're just get older and their body isn't good enough to do normal things anymore, and they break a leg trying to climb a tree for food, and they just like scatter around the ground and starve to death slowly in agony. That's the real world. There is no Pocahontas paradise out there. It does not exist. if you can have a situation where you're raising similar animals, Scott, I guess in this case, we're eating squirrels in this example. And, instead of 10-year average lifespan, every animal you slaughter has to be at least 15 years old or something like that, or whatever the analog is here. And so it's outliving its natural comparator group on average by a long shot. And also it's inoculated against any kind of diseases that we know. It gets antibiotics and all that good stuff, which by the way are very good for animals because it keeps them from rabid bacterial infections that are way more fucked up. And at the same time, they're completely protected from predation. Then and they're allowed to roam in a very huge enclosure and socialize with their animal friends and their families. Then all of a sudden it's kind of like, they're actually having a better time in captivity. And then when you consume their animal parts later, you're really kind of like not doing anything that seems ethically off limits for animals. And so then it's time to get into basically the kind of farming practices and consuming animal products from the kinds of producers that follow very ethical practices. And kind of no matter where you live, you're going to be able to find some ethically sourced animal products, eat them to whatever minimum that you need to feel your best, eat as many plants as possible to feel the difference. That's probably the way to go. But for most people, I will say, if you're not particularly attached to the idea of eating meat, and you want to consider going vegan, it's not going to improve your health because there's no health difference between vegan and omnivorous diets if you factor in like everyone's eating healthy food and controlling the intake of excessive calories. But it's just as healthy, and if you supplement properly and you keep track of your health, it is definitely awesome to be in a world where you're not contributing to animal suffering at all. Yes, I know that if you eat farmed foods that are plants, you're killing a ton of squirrels and rodents when the shit gets farmed. Again, you have to ask the question of, do those rodents die any worse or more painful of a death getting chopped up by a combine than they would getting torn apart by a jackal? The answer is no, it's probably better for them to be killed by the combine. Yes, I do mean that. So on average, because all animals die, if you are a vegan, you're causing less animal suffering than if you were a meat eater. Never mind the fact, again, in addition, that meat-eating humans consume the animals that also consume the grains, so you're consuming double the grains in some effect, even much more than that, because over its lifespan, the cow eats way more grain than you will ever eat. And so all that taken together, it's really good to be a vegan. Vegans get my utmost mad love and respect. And that would be great if more people were vegan. Do it smart so that you don't have to come back and say veganism doesn't work, because most of the times it does. For some people it won't work, and then ethical farming of animal products is really the way to go. Give that some thought. And if you're vegan and you're goth and you have colored hair, I'm married. But if I wasn't, what's up? Scott's a video guy. I'm saying you can hit him up too. Huh? Maddie, you're awesome. You're doing God's work, helping people get in shape. All my critiques were very well meant, and I hope your health takes a turn for the better. I've been Dr. Mike, and I give this video a what the f was this all about, and why am I saying vegan stuff out of 10. See you guys next time. All right, that was cool. Said some stuff. All love and respect, all good vibes. I do get critical, and that's my job. If you want more of that stuff, then right here is another video, and I'll see you next time.